Welcome back to the Monkey and the Monster YouTube channel, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3 recap. Today we're going to be recapping episodes 5, 6, and 7. It's a giant size episode today. What are your thoughts? I think we'll start off with episode 5, going back to Simmons and on her mysterious planet.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that episode?
I really liked it. I liked
all right.
I liked that it wasn't too like action packed, but it was more mellow. But yet it was still like a lot we got to see. And it actually seemed like Savage Simmons.
It was very interesting to see Simmons surviving by herself on the planet, even without food. Luckily, she was able to find that weird water monster thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I don't know what it was, but
it looked like Falcor underwater.
I'm not sure I'd be as daring or willing to eat some of that like she was.
Well, I mean, if you're there for like weeks and you hadn't eaten and trying to find food and water and you're just, I don't know.
I think I would have tried some of the dirt first.
Minerals. I don't know.
And
like
the
if
water.
you're really that desperate.
I guess when you go into survival mode, you kind of try anything.
It's man versus wild.
It's Bear Grylls.
So what about sorry. Okay.
What about what?
Let's say, what about Simmons recording herself? What did you feel about that?
Well, it was interesting to see her logging kind of her experience as she's going along with it and kind of speaking with Fitz, and you see how she's kind of trying to keep her sanity by speaking to Fitz while she's on the planet and kind of just logging everything, still keeping hopes alive as she's speaking into her phone and recording everything and logging it. I think that was kind of a way for her to not only to log everything down, but to kind of keep her own sanity at the same time on that planet while she was trapped there alone.
Yeah. How about that battery though? She just like kept going and going and going. It's like she never ran out of battery or space, and she was able to like, I know like if I were to get my phone or something and record myself like 10 minutes, that would like take up 2 gigabytes or something. So I wonder how much space she has.
I had a question about that, but I think you had an answer that you said Fitz mentioned something earlier in that episode, or Gemma mentioned earlier. One of them mentioned something about him altering her battery on the phone so it could last how many? I don't
recall, but I remember it was like quite a bit.
Yeah, it was like a ridiculous amount, obviously, because she was there for weeks months, 3 months was it?
It was like, how much was it? Like 4,922 hours or days or something. What was it? Hours, right?
Yeah, hours.
wait, 4,000 days? Whoa. Wait, what extreme? She was there years.
She was there a really long time. But that battery never died until the very end.
It was close to 5,000 years. Didn't die. That battery. So yeah, hours. Yeah, but what about Simmons getting captured there? What did you feel about that?
That was interesting. She found Will, what's his name?
Will Daniels.
William Daniels was an ex-NASA astronaut.
Yeah, but it was crazy because he was sent there from NASA to like take samples of the planet and stuff along with other people.
Well, obviously, as we see in that episode too, it goes way back to in the episode previous to that too. It's going back many years and centuries beyond what they've been doing there. So that's pretty interesting in that sense that it's been going on for a while. It's been continuous of people trying to explore. And then what do you think about that dead zone where all the artifacts?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. It goes to show that like even like a whole bunch of different people have been there, obviously, and that must be like one of the main portals that something like people get thrown into right there because I mean, wow. So I mean, like there's like a lot of stuff like they found like some wine, like that old looking compass
drink
and
that wine
different
too.
stuff to track the stars and there are a lot of interesting things there. But I want to know further what happened there, why it's so like don't go in there.
I
We've seen some bones too, didn't we?
Well, there was a lot of bones. Well, that thing that was like death
Yeah.
was taking everybody that kept going into that area in particular. That's why he was saying don't go there because people were losing their sanity and also getting killed by death. I guess I'm not sure. That's what he referred to it as death.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
I don't think it has any relation to death in the comics.
No, oh well,
I'm
not
not
that.
sure.
That's what they're talking about. I was thinking like, what? Yeah, that. I don't know what that is. Like a sandstorm person thing, creature.
Yeah, and Will's there since 2001, I believe you said.
Yeah.
So that's been quite a while there.
But some really old technology.
Yeah, some really old technology that they were able to reboot with a cell phone.
I don't know how. They took apart like the entire systems and everything, took in like little tiny pieces, which I guess would make sense because nowadays computers can be small and compact and you probably need a little bit of it.
Well, yeah, and all that's fit into a cell phone that we carry nowadays.
Yeah. What about the planet itself? Like there not being any sun.
Yeah, that was another thing on that planet. There was no sunlight. Gemma and Will trying to see the sunlight for the first time, and I don't recall how many, what they calculated, how many years or how often the sun reappears on that planet. But for the most part, it's dark on that planet a majority of the time.
But how convenient they're able to, when Simmons goes there, then the sun's gonna come for them.
What about Will's little base that he had underground? I wonder how he was able to build that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Had his own little bunker underground. And the planet itself had its own heating mechanism too. Heating source underground, which is pretty interesting. I wonder if they'll revisit that planet again. Well, in the same episode, Fitz finally comes back and saves Gemma. Then you kind of get a little flashback on a lead up. I guess the whole episode's a flashback, of course, but leads into the episode where Fitz saves Gemma, and you kind of get to see how all that played out there.
Yeah. And it's only to the end of that episode that we see that Fitz, she finally just comes through and like, she's like, well, I gotta go back. And he's like, what do you mean you have to go back?
Well, it explained why she wanted to go back.
And she was just telling him the whole story.
She had a little fling there with Will Daniels.
I know, but instead of Fitzsimmons, it was Will Simmons for that time being.
Yeah, it was.
I felt kind of betrayed for Fitz. I was like, hey, no, where's your hope? Oh, turn back your phone on and we need to see Fitz. Don't forget. Yeah, but overall, I really liked that episode.
Yeah, that was a really, really great standout episode there. That was really interesting.
It was really different for what we usually see in S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, it's usually like the base and they'll go outside and do different things, but I think this one was really interesting because it was more like in a smaller area, not so drastic. Well, it was drastic. Ignore what I'm saying.
What?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Any final thoughts on that episode there?
No.
There's a lot of information in that episode. It's pretty epic. Even though it was mostly Gemma by herself until she meets Will, but for the most part, that whole episode was pretty epic, interesting. Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's very complex.
Really added a lot more to Gemma's character.
Yeah.
All right. So, no more final thoughts on that?
No more
Let's
fun.
move right on into episode 6. That many. Alright, so any thoughts on this episode?
No.
No? Nothing? Okay.
Not
let's
at all. Not one single thought.
Alright, let's skip on over into episodes. So this episode we had Agent May and Bobby.
Yeah.
They set out to venture on a venture to go and find Ward themselves, which is pretty intense.
Yeah. Well, we find out pretty early on in the episode that Andrew's alive. Because that was like the first part of the episode. I think we seen that they're rushing him or in or something into the S.H.I.E.L.D. base. And we finally see that he's alive. He's not burned, which I was
That's
like...
true. He wasn't dead,
Yeah.
as we all thought on that cliffhanger earlier on in the 2 episodes before,
2 episodes before.
where it looked like he was blown away inside the building with Vernon von Strucker, Baron von Strucker's son. Apparently, Andrew's not dead.
No. But we have yet to find out what happened.
Oh no, we do find out what
Yeah.
happened. Andrew is Lash. That's what we found out in that
Oh
episode.
my god, you spoiled it.
I did spoil it.
My
That's kind
God.
of what we did.
We weren't there yet.
Oh, I was excited about it. I had to just get it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't this episode that we find out he's Lash. So I just had to jump ahead.
Yeah. What did you think about Vernon? Because
Vernon?
I think that his character was kind
Eh.
of... was a little bit
Riding
tricky.
his dad's coattails. Eh.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how about the fact that he ran to somebody? I mean, he was on the run after whatever, we find out that Andrew was Lash. Okay, so he goes on the run and Ward's trying to find him, S.H.I.E.L.D's trying to find him, but who does he turn to? Who is this guy?
I'm not sure. Did we get a name in this episode?
I didn't
recall
catch
any name. But he was obviously affiliated with Hydra and Baron von Strucker and a lot of the higher ups in Hydra. So I wonder who he is.
I don't know. It was really interesting because we see later on that the guy, whoever he is, he calls Ward. And he pretty much just tells Ward, alright, I'm going to give you Vernon. And then later time I'm going to be collecting my... What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
I'm listening.
I don't know what you're doing, but apparently this guy's, in exchange for something later on, he's going to help Ward, and he told Ward where Vernon was at. And they got him, and they stabbed him.
Yeah. They got him. They stabbed him.
And then May and Bobby run in. That's what they do. They run in, they're going after those guys. Bobby has that altercation outside, like in that pool where she electrocutes that guy with her electrocuting batons or whatever she has.
Right. That was an epic fight,
Yeah.
an epic battle that we had with Bobby and May in that episode going into Save the Day.
Yeah.
The cavalry!
I felt like up until this moment, I was kind of like, alright, Bobby's kind of just there. But I was actually excited to see her get back into action and finally fight. And
May is the one that got her, kind of forced her to get back into action. Kind of calling her out on her not wanting to join in the action anymore. She's kind of using her injury as a crutch to kind of stay back and not fight anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
She was having some mental issues going on, some type of PTSD. She was a little mentally unready to go back into battle and start pursuing the villains.
How about Coulson, the ATCU?
Yeah, Coulson decided to work with Roslyn and the ATCU in this episode too, which is pretty interesting. Intriguing.
Yeah, it was...
Is Coulson flipping?
Coulson's very into this this little lady that he's that's kind of controlling him now.
Yeah,
Before
Coulson needs to watch out. It looks like he's letting his feelings get in the way of his better judgment. He's starting to fall for Rosalind. I don't completely trust her, and for good reasons.
Yeah, very good reasons. So, what we see in this episode, the hunt for the Inhumans continues. Daisy, of course, and Mac. Feel like Daisy and Mac became like a team now.
Kind of. It seems like the teams have kind of split off in their own little segments. You got Hunter and Bobby, Mac and Daisy, Coulson and Rosalind, May and Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll mesh a little bit and then go off again. But I really do see a lot of
going off into pairs in these episodes here.
How about the fact that Coulson goes on this little rendezvous with Rosalind and ends up going to her house and stuff, and she agrees that she's going to take them to their ATCU main facility, wherever that is, and he goes there, and Daisy and Mac have those little cameras or like a little drone type thing.
Oh yeah, Fitz's drones that he has.
Yeah, and then it's invisible.
Drones.
That's what's important here.
That's the upgrade to it.
And they actually
spy. Invisible Predator style.
And they actually go in and they spy on what's going on inside the ATCU facility, and you actually see, because they can't hear it, but they're seeing. Coulson looks quite fond of like what he's seeing. He's there like, all right, let's see what's going on.
Coulson didn't seem to have a problem with it. He was like, oh, I got what you guys are doing, and he kind of agreed with him. It seemed like. It seems Coulson is falling more and more into Rosalind's little trap, I guess. She keeps persuading him and using her tactics.
Her womanly tactics.
Yeah, her woman tactics to persuade Coulson.
Yeah. Well, what I thought was pretty interesting during that whole part, because we actually get a little character development for Rosalind, and we find out that she had a husband who was sick. She couldn't save him, and now their work with the Inhumans, that they're putting them in like a stasis, like incubation, where they're in like asleep or kind of comatose for the time being until they can figure out a way on how they could reverse the process of the Terrigen and somehow get them back to their normal human state. But we also find out that she was like doing this because she had that sad history with her husband who passed away, and she said something along the lines that if I could have had this technology then I would have saved or put him in it, so that way I could have found a cure for him and eventually could have still been with him.
She's trying to buy time, which she's essentially saying that she's doing with the Inhumans that they're having now. They're trying to buy time for them before they actually go into full transformation to an Inhuman, to kind of buy time, and their stasis incubators there to kind of try to find a cure for them. But is it a good thing or a bad thing? Are they really? Is she really doing this for the better of the Inhumans, or is she just trying to take them all out?
Why go through all the trouble?
I don't know. Maybe she's not really helping them. Maybe they're just exterminating them. I mean, we don't really know what's going on. That's what she told Coulson, so we shall find out later on in this season.
Yeah, that's true.
Any more thoughts on this episode?
No, not really. I mean, well, there was a minor plot, I'd say, that was going on during the time, is that we see Fitz is looking up that Will Daniels, and he's looking at pictures of him and stuff.
All right, yeah, that was another little plot in this episode here. Is Fitz or Simmons tells Fitz everything about Will Daniels, so she kind of confesses, or not confesses, but kind of fills him in on everything that happened. So he actually knows now that herself and Will Daniels actually had a thing going on while they were out there, and that's the reason why she wants to go back, is to go rescue Will. So that's going to be very intriguing to see how Fitz responds to that later on in this season, if they actually do get Will Daniels back, if he's gonna have a conflict with him, he's gonna go to war. I'm more than positive they're gonna butt heads in this season.
Oh, Ward. I said he's gonna go to Ward. I'm thinking,
No,
why is he
not
gonna turn
Ward.
Hydra all of a sudden?
No, war.
Yeah, Ward.
No D.
I was thinking, like, he can turn
I don't know,
Hydra.
maybe he does turn to Hydra. Maybe he gets so heartbroken from Simmons that he just decides to become,
Their enemy.
Yeah, he's like, screw this, I'm leaving S.H.I.E.L.D. and joining Hydra. Hey, Ward!
Calls him up. Well, it just seems like everybody still has his number. Like, he doesn't change it. Everybody's like, hey, Ward, what's going on? They're still very accessible. So how about, what are we on? Episode 7 now, right?
Yeah. Before we move on, any more thoughts on that final part of that episode?
No. You know what? One thing I would say is pretty, that we did see. I'm not sure if it was last episode or it was the episode before, where we actually see that Will survived whatever that death was coming after them, and he was coming after Simmons, and she actually gets back with Fitz, but we do see that, he's still alive, so there is hope.
He's still alive there.
There's hope to go back for him.
So that's it, huh?
Yeah.
There for that episode.
Do you have any last thoughts?
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything on that one. And now we move into episode 7. 7. Thoughts on episode 7?
Blew my mind.
That was an amazing episode.
Mind blown.
Probably my favorite episode of the season
Yeah.
so far. It was really, really intense, epic, exciting. I have no other words for it. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was just.
I lied because that was another word I just added there.
It was fantabulous, this episode.
No, we're making up words. That's right. That's how awesome it was.
Fantabulous.
Fantabuloso.
Fantabuloso. How about
How about
Bobby? Oh, what about the little interesting part in the beginning where we see Bobby and Hunter, and he's like, they're talking about, like, Hunter's like headstrong, like, next time I go after Ward or whatever. And she's like, wait, stop. No,
Right.
let's not do that.
Yeah, she don't want to go after Ward anymore. She tells him, no more going after Ward. So it seems like they're going to maybe veer away from going after Ward. They've been getting their arses kicked by Ward pretty bad. So,
Hydra so far has been impregnable from those two.
Yeah, I mean, Hydra's becoming a force to be reckoned with under Ward's rule. But even in this episode, I mean, is Ward really running Hydra?
I don't think so. I think he's supervising Hydra. I don't think he's running it.
I'm not sure.
What about Fitzsimmons and the whole little plot of that this episode?
Well, in this episode, we got to see a little bit more about Fitzsimmons and Fitzsimmons and Will.
That hog face.
Yeah, hog face. But yeah, Gemma gives Fitz her cell phone where she was recording everything, and he actually was able to salvage her SIM card on there and upload all the data that she had, all the recordings that she made, and see some of the pictures of her and Will together, which really upset him on that part of the episode. So that was really interesting there for Fitz.
It's like, I don't know why, that's a dumb thing too. When I was watching that part where he's looking through the pictures and stuff, and he sees Will and Simmons, I just had that one song, but first let me take a selfie come to mind. Because like, they're both like, well, it's not a selfie because it's both of them, but I mean, it's funny because...
It's an ussy.
An us. But it's funny because I know they're like in that weird environment and they have death outside waiting for them, but they're just like, hey, let's take a picture of this.
Let's go find the portal and see if we can time it right. But first, let me take an ussy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know why that just came to my mind. Kind of dope.
But also going back to that, when Fitz is going through the data, he of course he sees all the videos and the recordings that Gemma left him, and oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, he recognizes he recognizes the symbol that was carved into the ground, and he also relates it to the symbol that's on Will's
patch.
yes, the patch that he's wearing on his NASA suit, and he comes up with the conclusion that there's this probably going farther beyond NASA. That there's something larger that's at work here that kind of sent those astronauts out there in the first place. That's been again, I think that's relating back to them going back in order that was going back a long time before. Yeah, and that's where it kind of explains all the artifacts and bodies and stuff that's already up there. So Fitz is getting to the bottom of this mystery of who's been going out there, what it is. I wonder if that's gonna play a much bigger role later on in this season, or if it's gonna be kind of something minor.
I don't know.
I'm intrigued.
I think it could be important. I mean, if they've built it up this much, I think it's pretty important if they're putting it like. I wonder if it like, you know how they said back at the castle in like London or whatever where they went and he found the first symbol, and he sees it again 14 years earlier in that picture that Will has it on his label. I wonder if it's like a different organization that maybe that S.H.I.E.L.D. knows of now, but they just have to figure it out maybe. I wonder if it has like something to do with maybe the ATCU or something that maybe they know or S.H.I.E.L.D. knows. Because that was 14 years ago that picture of Will was taken, so still 14 years of advancement that we still have yet to see what it's become, if it's anything.
I wonder.
And am I the only one who felt a little hopeful for Fitzsimmons during that time where he's looking at the videos and he sees that she's talking about a little cottage that her and her family had passed when they were vacationing or on holiday in Scotland, and she sees she's telling Fitz in the video that she'd always kind of thought about maybe that'd be a place for them to settle down, and he tells her and she's like, yeah, I mean, like, I know that's in Scotland, I know that's where you're from. And I kind of thought like,
well, yeah, it left a little bit of hope. That's from Fitz tells her, let's just enjoy the sunset.
she's seen the sunrise with who she should be
Or
with,
sunrise,
in my opinion.
Oh yeah, with Fitz, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what they imply there too. She missed the sunrise with Will, but she's seen it with Fitz, which is a much better suit for them, I believe. Got this Will guy just trying to shoehorn his way in there and ruin everything.
We do not accept.
What a jerk.
No, we don't. Fitzsimmons is our OTP, and we're going to keep them. One true pair.
Oh, did not know what that meant.
Yeah. Get with it. Get with our fandom here.
Okay. What'd you think about Andrew Lash? We got a lot of backstory here for Lash this episode. How he became Lash.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit, because that's a little further into the episode, because we see a little midway Lincoln, and he goes and he calls Mac, right? He tells Mac to meet him somewhere, and then he's like, hey, guess what? I got information on who Lash
That was actually after. It starts off before, where 6 months in advance, when he's going through the files that Coulson gave him.
Right.
And he's reading through Jane's stuff, the books and stuff, and I guess she rigged something in there for whoever opened a book, and it was a log of all the Inhumans that she had.
The genealogy.
Yeah, the genealogy of all the Inhumans from Afterlife. Yeah, where she has all the names there. So once Andrew was looking through it, kind of doing an investigation, research on it, she rigged it for the Terrigen crystal to burst. So whoever wasn't an inhuman would eventually just die from the mist because they can't accept it. Luckily or unluckily for Andrew, I mean, he didn't die, but he became Lash. So that was pretty intense. But yeah, that actually happened before you see Lincoln going back. Yeah.
Okay.
So then that part tied into to Lash taking Agent May.
Okay. Oh
Because
yeah.
it explains all that, and
well,
then
he goes to the cocoon, right? The
yeah, he goes into cocoon.
Shield base, Hydra base.
Oh yeah, and he's with Joey Gutierrez. He's doing a lot, or he's doing well.
6 episodes later.
Yeah, we find out that he actually has control. He's learned to control his inhuman power. He's not freaking out and melting everything on
So
accident.
he can like shape stuff, right?
Yeah, he can shape stuff
like
now.
melt the
metal down,
metal.
I think, and shape it however he wants it. So that was pretty interesting to see, and he kind of mentions how Daisy's trying to form a team of secret warriors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So she's trying to form a team now and getting a little more into that. So I think we're going to start transitioning more into her recruiting more Inhumans or more people for her team.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, all that was first, and then yeah, we find out he became Lash. Then May finds out that he's Lash. She does all her research. Then she rushes to town while he's interviewing or doing like
an assessment.
Yeah, an assessment of Joey Gutierrez, and that's when she kind of makes them all leave the room, and she confronts Andrea at the time, and he ends up shooting her with an icer to kind of they get a little
altercation.
Yeah, a little altercation, a little bit of an argument there, and he's starting to feel like he's losing control and turning into Lash again. So he shoots her with an icer, and he takes her to some abandoned building or an apartment building or something, and he chains her up to some type of big tank, like gas tank or something.
Some propane tank that was randomly.
Yeah, propane tank or something. Yeah, but he handcuffs her to that. And then that's when we lead into Andrew contacting Mac and telling him that he has an idea who Lash is, and he's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
So that's when he kind
of
goes to Coulson.
Yeah.
And that's when they all get together and they go and set out to find Agent Mayer to track him down.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like Coulson, I feel, if I'm the only one, I don't know if I feel this, but he's kind of frustrating me. Okay, because with everybody else, he's always been like, I don't trust you. I need to make sure I have all my bases covered, understand why you're getting so close to me and everything. But yeah, with Rosalind, he's just like giving everything to her. I mean, he even took her on the ship, what he called it, but the plane, and she was in there, the whole ATCU, and he's letting her in on the most important parts, like even having Daisy take her around and show her like all their like chambers or what they have there, and like I don't know,
he's starting to fall
for
her. It seems like
come on.
He's getting a little too googly eyed for her, and I don't like it. Damn it, Coulson, get your head back in the game.
Yeah. How about when back to Lash, when Andrew's explaining to what's her name, May? What's her name? He's explaining
what's
to
her
May.
Name? Yeah. What's her name?
Whatever, don't matter enough.
He's explaining what's her name, but yeah.
But he was explaining to May the transformation and how like it made him feel. At first he didn't like it because it made it feel like his heart was going really fast and he couldn't breathe. But then he said that as he started like killing the Inhumans and stuff, he started feeling like rejuvenated in a way, like it was giving him like energy and like strength, and he was like really liking it. It's kind of like a drug or something.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting, his description there of how it felt with his transformation. We also learned from Lincoln that his ability to transform from human to inhuman is actually temporary. He's in a transitional period right now where he's becoming Lash, so that's why he's able to go back to being Andrew in his human form, but this is only temporary, so eventually he's going to just become Lash unless they figure out a way to stop it or get it under control or just get rid of his inhuman gene. So that's going to be interesting because May was able to stop him and shoot him into one of the S.H.I.E.L.D's containers, little cells there. That was pretty interesting. Coulson asked her, how'd you know that wouldn't kill him? And she just looks at him and was like, I didn't.
Yeah, she was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
What
She was prepared to kill him at that moment.
How about the fight though, leading up to that part where Lash and Shield and ATCU go at it, pretty crazy, and you know
Epic.
he's just going at them. I mean, they're trying to go and pull him
Very
and shoot
suspenseful,
him and
epic.
everything, and he's just like, no, all right, who's next? That was really interesting. I like that. I don't know why. I like to see when Andrew uses whatever
Yeah, that was pretty
electricity
awesome. His
because it's
electrical
like
power.
yeah, because
With
like
a little bit of an
an
energy
aura
ball.
he's like making some shapes with it too now. Because last season we didn't actually see him use
Well,
make it into a shape or anything.
Yeah, we didn't really get to see any of them use their powers all that much until this season. At the beginning, when you actually get to see Andrew using his powers and Daisy against Lash the first time they met, they had an altercation. This time, you can see that they're a little more advanced in their ability to control it, or at least Andrew is. You can see him. Even Daisy's learning how to control it.
Oh, I know.
When Lash tosses Rosalind over the balcony, and she's able to stop her with her powers there.
Cool.
Yeah. I didn't know you can do that. She's like, neither did I.
Yeah.
That makes two of us.
Yeah.
That was pretty. So you can see her progression as she's starting to learn more and more how to control her powers or what she can actually do with her powers.
Going back a little bit to what you're saying a little like right before this about Andrew talking about how Lash is Andrew's transitioning into being Lash, and that's going to be his final state. Let's not forget that happened to Reina. Remember, she was normal and everything, but when she transformed or took in the Terrigen, she couldn't change back and forth from her human form to her. I don't know what she looked. She looked like a porcupine to me, but
her in human form.
yeah, in human form.
I think for her it took quicker.
Yeah.
She was her body was able to accept the transformation much quicker as opposed to Lash. She's still in a transitional period. So.
But I just kind of figured it's gonna be like that, where
Yeah.
just like full body.
Yeah. Once he's done, he's gonna be Lash. He's not gonna be Andrew anymore.
Lash May is gonna be his new name. Yeah. What about the last part where we see Hydra or
Ward speaking with
the guy.
The guy that's
he who must not be named.
That guy, the guy he's talking to. The guy. But yeah, he's speaking with him about Hydra, and he tells him what he's gonna do is he's gonna cut off the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Without Coulson, there is no S.H.I.E.L.D. So he's gunning to kill Coulson. I really don't like where this is going for Coulson. I'm kind of scared for him. I'm worried.
I feel it serves him right. I mean, he's the one who's all like, let me show you everything. Let me tell you my secrets. Let me tell you what I haven't told everybody
What about the
else.
stinger that we find out Rosalind is working with Hydra? She's actually working with that guy. So I think I don't know.
But is he Hydra? I mean, like, I know he's working with Ward, but is he Hydra or is he something higher?
I don't know what's higher than Hydra right now. But, the government? I don't know.
What's all the talk with the president, man?
Yeah.
I wonder what all this, if it might tie into each other.
Yeah, I think it definitely will. I think all this is actually going to be a nice little lead into a civil war coming up next year. So, because right now you're getting a lot of Inhumans, against ATCU, who is actually working with War and Hydra. So that seems like the government's going to be more of like, have a little bit more corruption in the government part of it. So I'm excited to see how this is going to end up playing out through the season and how it'll lead into Civil War, because I believe it will. I mean, they usually do every season. This season's been a little more standalone-ish from the MCU movies, but I think this is going to be pretty nice lead into that movie. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to progress further along into the season.
It's a lot of history repeating itself with infiltration with Hydra. Like, S.H.I.E.L.D. lets its guard down quite easily, I think, and it doesn't take a lot to get into S.H.I.E.L.D. obviously. I mean, just took Coulson having an eye for a pretty lady and they're in. That's just simple like that. I mean, at least like before with Hydra inside S.H.I.E.L.D., it was built up for some years, and when it finally broke, it was like so catastrophic that both Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. somehow just blew apart. But now I feel that Hydra's creeping back in, but a little faster now than it probably had been. But I think that it's kind of like the same thing that had happened before, but it's just in a newer sense, like a rebirth of it.
All right. Well, until next time. That does it for this episode, this giant-size episode. Any last words? Any last thoughts?
I will say one thing.
All right, and then we'll see you.
I really liked how Lash told Coulson and the team is like, I am the cure about about the Inhumans. They're like, no, we can find a cure, and he's like, I am the cure.
Right.
I don't know why I like that part.
That was pretty awesome. Well, make sure you subscribe and follow and share and like the video.